And I'll just start over here real quickly. So I'm on Hera Board Advisor. I'm also the founder for Hera TV. I also work very closely with Gilles Bactiar, the architect for Hera City. I have a very strong smart city background from years in tech. I was doing smart cities before anybody knew that they were called smart cities. If you take a course over at MIT, you'll see all my works in the MIT curriculum case studies. Our focus here today, I'm doing this call monthly, and then I'm recording it because we want to get the voices from women around the world, what's important to them, what they want to see in the city. So we're looking at everything from tech to culture, spiritual, living, working, you name it. And so I'll also, if you put anything in the chat, I'm keeping that. So I'm creating a file of all the content, all the information as I gather in these meetings that I do once a month. And quite frankly, the floor is yours. We feel very strongly that the city needs to have a very strong feminine theme to it, although it is for all religions, all nationalities, and all genders. And based on the future of humanity, we want women's voices to be heard and to be part of the input for the city. So I'm just going to open up the floor. People raise their hand, say what they want to say. Please, put your contact details into the chat because that will also be saved as well. And yeah, so I will tell you that we're in discussions with a couple of countries. I feel we are very excited. We'd love to be able to do it in Morocco. So, we're obviously going to be working with everybody. And we look at this to be a really big visit card for any country that we land in. It's a really, really important to have at least one city on this planet that represents or helps, women in regards to being in the leadership and, participating in these projects and everything as we go forward. So hang on a second here. I got some people in the meeting room I need to bring in. Hang on. They're coming.
Mary, if you make me co-host, I can keep an eye on letting people in if you want. So you don't have to worry about.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, you'll have to do it from your end. If you just give me co-host, go on my name and then the little dots, and then I'll let people in for you, so you don't have to worry about.
Okay, I'm sorry. We're at where
you go on participants.
Okay.
And then as you hover on my name, you see you get more, and then you should be able to say make co-host.
Oh, I got it. Okay, hang on.
No worries. Then I can let people in for you, all right?
Hang on. Okay. I guess just make you a host. It doesn't say co-host, so well, I'm giving up my host.
I can host you. Hey, that's no problem. Okay. Be my pleasure and honor.
Okay. All right, great. Okay. So anybody, is there things that are important to you that you'd like to see in the city?
Go first, if that's okay. I don't mind. So I'm Nina Olk. I'm living currently in London. I met Mary through, I was having a discussion on Think Network. I'm an advocate for Think Network, who are Europe's largest platform, I think, for empowerment. I'm their cultural and diversity advocate, and I've just got my first TED Talks as well, so I'm really excited. I am very passionate about spreading awareness of honor killings and cultural restraints upon girls, because I myself have lived through the problems that are incurred, and I just want to bring the awareness that it's not just my own culture, which is actually my heritage is Indian, but it's very, the problem is everywhere, it's worldwide, because not everyone's living in the same countries in which they were born. So it's traveled all across the globe, and honor killings are taking place today. They would have been, some poor child has been killed today just because she was born a girl. And it's a very passionate thing for me, as I said, because I survived a very horrific attempt on my life by my father and brother. And without going into it too much, Mary knows a little bit, but I was left for dead, really, and I managed to escape. And I have had quite a traumatic childhood and life, but that has given me the basis upon which I've built my understanding and knowledge, and my life skills and life experiences have enabled me to have a voice. And I don't want to feel helpless anymore, which is how I was feeling for the children that are still going through this horrific act upon them just because of the gender they are born. I am not a feminist, and I'll say that over and over again because people misinterpret who I am. I'm a humanitarian foremost, and I'm very much against discrimination. So I am happy to speak to anybody, and I literally send out message after message every day to say, can I be on your podcast? Because my aim is to get on 20 podcasts so that I can have, 100 podcasts is my aim. I send out 20 messages a day so that I can at least have 100 messages that have gone out, and that might reach 2 or 3 people, which for me, those 2 or 3 people that's amazing. I'm hoping to create a domino effect with this message so that somebody will hear about it and pass it on to somebody else. And if somebody's aware of what's happening, they can make a discreet phone call, or a teacher might look out for the signs, whereas they've ignored them. In my case, I was ignored. And it's not necessarily for them to take action, but to be more of a part of the solution as opposed to the problem. Because the more we ignore these things, we are part of the problem, and we're definitely not the solution. So I'm doing everything I can. I've started my own podcast as well, very controversial, talking about things people don't like to talk about, because I'm very much against human trafficking as well, because the girls in India that are born are left under trucks, and the parents hope that the truck driver will get in the truck, drive over the child without seeing them. But the children that are left in orphanages are then used for sex trafficking and organs being sold. So I know about the problems going on in my own little culture, but I am also surrounded by Koreans, Chinese, Vietnamese, Malaysians, Turkish, Greeks that have had similar experiences. So I just would like for everyone to just have a bit more love, because I'm full of love and I just want to spread it, but also just to respect one another. I'm Nina, and that's about it for me.
Thanks for sharing that, Nina. And I think, obviously we're going to do an interview next week. But the last call I had a month ago, safety came up as a really big issue. And even though, we've been separated by nations and nationality for umpteen years, and with planes, we've become much more of a global community. And with that, I think everybody has these different cultures, right, that they've had for centuries, and slow to change. Obviously, when they, move to a country that doesn't really allow that, they find themselves in jails and prisons. So I think, being able to have a safe environment in the city that allows for cultures, but laws against, hatred and crime, things of that nature. There has to be a better way to manage through this and change some of these cultures. But you bring up a very important issue against women, violence against women, which is all over the globe. And obviously we need to be able to make sure that we've addressed this or have things in place for Hera City for that reason. Thank you for sharing. Anybody else? Jessica, you've got a lot to say. You're in sustainability. Jessa, are you there? You're muted.
Yeah, sorry about that. I thought I wasn't. My apologies. Yes, I am. Hi, everyone. I'm Jessa Roebuck. I'm CEO of Vidaluz Development. We're a sustainable startup company that is focusing on placing communities that prioritize sustainable lifestyle choices and access to nutritionally dense food as a basic human right. We're trying to overcome the problem that there's a premium price tag attached to doing something that's better for yourself or the planet or the community. So, it's near and dear to my heart, Mary. One of the things that I would, love to see is a really sustainable green approach in Hera City. And obviously Vidaluz is here to help and support in any way that we can in that endeavor. But just, the ability for people to be in harmony with the planet and each other. Like I said, it's just always so frustrating that it costs more to buy organic food, or it costs more, to get that oh, this option is green. And I just think that making these things obtainable and seamless and really, thoughtless for people because it's available really can help in advancing a community that is harmonious with the planet and positively impactful in that particular way. That's definitely my silo. So of course, I'm always going to champion that. But I think that it plays into the larger community because, we can be elevating women in every way that we can, but if we're not also doing that in a way that's conscious for the planet and for future generations, I just think that they're all interconnected and interrelated. So it's just part of celebrating humanity as a whole. Other than that, yeah, I absolutely love what you're doing with Hera City, and I constantly talk about it. So I'm spreading the word that what you're accomplishing in the world is something that's so needed and so vital. And then, to speak to my specific, what I'm doing as far as my raise, from a female perspective, 3% of money goes to VC woman founders. So, if there's any sort of small business incubator component that you can add in to accelerate women looking to launch their businesses. I know for our retail component with Vita Luce, we're looking at a small business incubator model, but just being able to support women in business and give them more access. So maybe integrating banking systems that prioritize equality and inclusion in their lending practices, I think would be great to see. There's just this brick wall that you run into as a female founder, and it's just incredibly frustrating. So, ways around that from a community building standpoint and making sure that you're prioritizing access for women to become powerful business figures, because we are, and we think about our community as a female, it's inherent for us to think about others in what we're doing. So I think that's it. That's probably all I have to say.
No, that's brilliant. I think the only 1% of women are getting actual funds. And that's horrific as far as I'm concerned, especially with as smart as we are and the things that we can contribute to the community. So I'm in full agreement of that. I've got somebody that I can connect you with. So Jess, if you can put in your email in the chat, that would be great, because I'm sure some people would like to get in touch with you. So, hey, Pedro, let me bug you for a minute. Are you unmuted? I'd love to hear from you on your input for Hera City.
Hold on a second.
He was there, Mary, then he disappeared.
Yeah, I think you're right. He's probably...
He dematerialized. Oh no.
You scared him away, Mary. Way to go.
I do that. I do. Men find me very frightening.
Put him on the spot.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. No.
Yeah, well, I've got a couple of thoughts.
Okay, go ahead.
Comes back. So hi, everybody. Thank you for having me here today. My name is Ashi Mittal. I am the CEO of Pivotal Solutions, amongst other things, and I am a firm believer in education. I work a great deal with nonprofits, amongst other spaces, as well as in the world of education, and it is critical. It is crucial. It is vital that these women get proper education. When we talk about places like Morocco and Sierra Leone, many young girls are not attending primary or secondary school because they are too busy collecting water every single day. The 5.7 hours in Guinea versus the 7.3 of older, almost grown, paid men versus not receiving an education. There's also major correlation between prevention of childhood death and poverty in regards to women with education. Data from over 68 countries indicates that a woman's education is a key factor in determining their children's survival. Children of mothers with no education, particularly in places like Latin America and the Caribbean, are close to 3.5 times more likely to die with mothers who have secondary or tertiary education, 1.6 times more likely than those with primary level education. So there obviously is a correlation. So for me, a crucial, vital point of the city would have to be allowing equal accessibility of complete education and training, Mary. I cannot state that enough. And then, of course, the world of healthcare. I think we can all agree on that point as well. The concept of accessibility in healthcare keenly with, once again, maternal health, right? We're talking about between, was it 1990 and 2008, the proportion of rural women receiving prenatal care
Right.
was great, because at least it grew from 55% to 67%. So that's a big thing for me as well. And I am once again in the space of global connectivity and building communities, obviously in the space of diversity inclusion, and with a number of initiatives involving women investing in women involving and investing capital, because I think it's incredibly important that we have a number of really great projects led by women, but we are just not getting them funded. And the same in the nonprofit community as well, facing the world's most critical issues and accelerating prompts of those issues. And of course, we can talk a little bit more about that. I've got one of my great partners on the call, Haley Finley, who, if she wants to, she can talk a great deal about that. But in education, I'm not just talking about the American standards of PK through 12 and university. I'm also talking about the history and the culture. Okay, so museums and those experiences where we're talking about that diversity in that space. As a historian and archaeologist, that's just, once again, critical to future generations. So thank you. Once again, my name's Ashi Mittal, and I'll put my information in the chat.
Yes, thank you, Ashi, for speaking that. One of the things that's important to us is Jill has designed a museum for Hera City. And one of the important components that we want to have in the museum is all the women past, present, and future that most little girls don't even know about, right? I mean, you might hear of, a few of them, right, that are front and center, but there's a lot of the ones that are behind the scenes that were anonymous and unknown, who made huge impacts on the planet and humanity. And so we want to make sure that the little girls around the world are getting educated as well in regards to the great accomplishments by women that have never been spoken about. So thank you for sharing that. I think you've got some really great ideas there. Pedro, I'm sorry, just as I was asking, you disappeared on us.
I was guilty as charged. No, I want to thank you again and Marianela Mirpuri for the invite. I must say that as much as it may not come too obvious, I'm a man, so my contact came with Marianela was basically a business contact. I'm probably not too keen on exploring that today with you guys, but I can touch on what was behind it. It's not a women-specific issue we're addressing, but it's about sustainability. Basically, one of the companies I am working with is producing sustainable dynamic furniture and decorative structures out of cork, which is 100% natural and reusable. And we're looking at ways with Jill and Marianela to have something up and running, which basically explores this sustainability element, which has a kind of feminine touch to it. It's very light, it's very elegant, it's very versatile. So in a way, I guess that now that I think about it, it's probably cork is probably more female than male. But it's a very concrete thing we're looking into. One of the beauties generically about cork is its, again, sustainability. If you don't know that every 16 years there's a kind of a skin that grows around oak trees that you delicately extract, and you mostly use it for wine corks, as you're probably used to. But that's probably not the best use for something as delicate and precious. And we're doing it again in a kind of a Lego kind of structure, So it can be useful and people can interact around it. So in the context of the event, one thing is you won't need tools to build the structures or to rebuild the structures. So in that sense, it's if you want, the ecological footprint is quite positive. You can reuse the stuff after X many changes at the end of the event. And we're obviously looking at ways of exploring this in the actual city as well.
Awesome.
So there will be other elements to cover. I'm also in touch with other companies. I forward you my LinkedIn profile, and happy, as you will expect, to explore this in parallel with each individual member. But all I can say is I couldn't support more the project. Obviously, I have three boys. I was not blessed with a girl, but obviously I'm a son, and I love my mother, and I do appreciate the roles sometimes not fully acknowledged that women have in this modern world. Luckily, there's a few positive signs out there, and this, I think, is a great initiative. So more than happy to explore beyond the commercial side of things. So ping me anytime, and whatever is within my reach, I'll be happy to.
Perfect. I mean, this city,
and
Pedro, this city is for the future of humanity. So it's all genders. And I think the important piece is sustainability, right? And a really healthy environment for living. So yeah, excited to have you on board. Thank you for that.
Thank you so much.
Anybody else want to share what's going to be important for them in the city? Haley, are you there? She's muted. Mercy, do you have anything you want to share?
Haley's come on.
Oh, she is, okay.
Hello, hello.
Hi, Haley.
We can hear you.
Hi, how are you? Sorry, my dog was trying to get on the computer to say hi to everybody. My name is Haley, and I'm just very excited to be here today. New to all the work that everyone is doing. I'm not sure how everyone connects here, but just I see the engagement, the energy, and just what everyone's goals are, and it's super in line with myself. And I work with private equity, a lot of different companies to bring a holistic, sustainable group of solutions together in play spaces around the world. So when I connected with Mary, I'm like, this is just epic. Creating self-sustaining economies is really my passion. I work with different governments around the world to engage different solutions or NGOs and really be that single touch point of bringing everything together. So I'm here to listen and to learn and love the things that you guys are talking about, and education, access to resources such as clean water, and also the spiritual aspect of it is very important to me. But I would love to ask maybe Mary or anyone here, like what is one of maybe the areas that you are feeling that might have some obstacles that you're trying to include, or that you're not sure if you have a solution for it yet? I'm sure you have a bunch of different plans, but if there's one area that I could just, then my brain can kind of go and say, I'll try to find that solution and support you. So maybe just any information on that. I would love to throw that back at you.
Well, that's a good question. If Gil was here, he could probably answer it very quickly. I think when I look, I don't think there's going to be any problem in technology solutions. I mean, there's tons of them, right? So it's a matter of weeding through them that are healthy for humans as opposed to invasive and not as healthy. And I've been in the tech space long enough to know the difference between some of them. So I don't think that's necessarily an issue. And there's so many sustainable solutions out there that that we'll have access to. So that is not really the question. I think probably if I had to say, culture would probably be the biggest challenge when you're bringing people together globally, because they all have their beliefs, right? And some of those beliefs may not be as healthy as some of the others. And I think that might be the more difficult, because I think you can, education wise, and I've actually seen culture destroy companies. I mean, great companies. It's usually culture and greed that I see that really become a problem in society when I think about it.
That's awesome to hear, because one of the things that I do specialize in and my focus is actually the combination of local economic development and then the value chain development, and creating that dialogue around the specific areas of what could be, or the possibilities, the ripples of if we're coming into a country. So that's very interesting to hear. And I'd love to learn more and explore more. But yeah.
Okay, cool. Great. So Mario, we haven't met. Have we met? Do I know you?
Hi there. No, we haven't met. Maybe we were in a call together. We were.
I
outside.
might,
Just,
yeah.
I just closed the door here. So
Okay, no problems.
I just got in another call.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, my name is Mario Regis. I work with Chris, Festus, Mercy. We have this company we just opened, Infinite Abundance Consultancy Service. It's about bringing abundance programs, integrated systemic solutions, onto the world, for next civilization models, kind of. I know it sounds quite bold, but at the same time, we are in a systemic change moment in the world. The calls are there for changing systems in every way, including the economic. If you can hear the last 2-3 years in the World Economic Forum, more and more the call for that. So what we do is we have this system by which we go into each place, and we can offer this complete assessment, the oral assessment of what are the family and individual concerns and demands for intervention, for help. The same for the cultural, economic, historical, emergency relationships assessment, so that we can contrast that with an ever-increasing portfolio of solutions providers. And so to match make on the best way possible. Best solutions that are best applicable to each circumstance, like in the cultural science, it's always there. So how to, and that's like at the same time it's a great challenge, and I agree. So if somebody would ask, I taught culture also, but at the same time it is the greatest opportunity, because each successful experience, increases the understanding on how to deeply connect and work with people, bringing solutions into the world in win-win basis, right? All win, we call it all win holocratic dynamics, our methodology. But and then because of that, we are also involved in making these model towns around the world. It's like now Botswana, Kenya, Australia, and then a few other countries opening. And we are in talks about Hera City brand being in all of them. And that's what I proposed to Marianella, was that the part that relates to women's well-being, welfare, safety, freedom, and all the sorts of support necessary, then taken care by Hera City and enterprises.
Yep.
And then that kind of partnership going on in the model towns that we are involved.
Mm-hmm.
And also then, Marianella called us to be part of this team for the Expo Dubai.
Okay.
So probably that could be going all around, all together.
Okay.
So we work, and then just to conclude, I don't want to take too much time, sorry. We are making these eco-regions of abundance, right? ERA, So if we just make holistic eco-regions of abundance, it becomes Hera, right? And then that's
Wow, very nice. Mario, would you mind putting your connection, your company into the chat? That would be great.
sure. Yeah,
Are
I'll
you
put
are
the
you in
link.
Portugal? Are you in Portugal?
No, I'm based in Switzerland. Yeah,
Okay.
but I'm going to our company is registered in London.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm going also now for next 2 weeks. We'll be there with Mercy and Chris, and
Okay.
we'll be working together in there.
Okay, great. Welcome. Thank you.
Greetings, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
For this
Festus.
wonderful work and everyone.
Yeah, I know.
You guys are wonderful, all of you. Amazing.
Thank you.
I'm just like,
Thank you.
wow.
I know we got a lot of heavy lifting to do. Festus, we haven't met, have we? Be there?
We haven't. I'm excited that we are meeting when I am dressed in my traditional regalia.
Oh, nice.
I had no plans to join this call, but Chris and Mario pulled my leg, so I said yes because I'm enjoying my evening anyway.
Oh, okay. All right. So do you have any thoughts on what you would like to see in Hera City?
Yeah, because I happen to be a chairman and founder of a local organization. I'm based in Kenya. The simplest way of introduction is I come from the western part of Kenya, the community which is known for running. So those elite runners that run the marathon under 2 hours, I have that blood in my system as well. But I run a different race, the race against climate change and fixing solutions. I have a mission to co-create vibrant and resilient ecosystems to support communities. Yeah, and so I have a community of close to 17,000 farmers in my network, building on my platform that is Green Planet Initiative 2050. So co-creating an eco-region and connected with these brothers of mine now, Chris and Mario and Mercy, to build real resilient landscapes across Africa. So we're putting together an East African value ecosystem project. We're also supporting a value ecosystem in Botswana to take care of the South. So we're connecting those pieces together. And the contribution, I have 40% of the communities that I'm connected happen to be women. Women are the drivers of a lot of the restoration projects land restoration projects that you see in Africa. Yeah, so supporting communities to access what I call life in all its fullness, just by change of transforming the mindsets without interfering with the social fabric. And again, helping them to unlock the richness that is in nature, to meet their needs at household level, because they have knowledge. I grew up in the villages, so I have knowledge, traditional knowledge on how to solve some of these problems that you see in the community. So leveraging on the science-based knowledge together with the traditional indigenous knowledge to fix these problems and to ensure that communities have enjoy social, that dignity and life in all its fullness. Children, boys and girls, to have sufficient food in the household, to go to school and to seek education and be better. So that is my mission, and I'm glad to explore more on how we would connect this to the Hera City. Thank you.
Yeah, I think that's brilliant. And Festus, I'd like to introduce you to some women and children in some of the Kenya refugee camps that are really willing to work and to do some things, and maybe they might, love your leadership and directing them on things that they can do to help. So I'll forward that to Mercy and have her connect with you on that. So, but I think that would be brilliant. Christiana, did you want to say anything?
So hi everyone, I'm so happy to be here today. Thank you for having me. So to me, women empowerment is so important, and discrimination in the workplace really is something that, you know, I'm looking forward to, you know, having it addressed in a peaceful way, in a beautiful way, with respect to, you know, everybody, because as someone else was pointing out, you know, I'm not a feminist, but I also believe that women shouldn't work more to be paid less. And unfortunately, I've been hearing that in Italy, for example, there has been a tennis competition, and you know there were two presenters, a lady and a gentleman, and just to make a point, the gentleman was paid 100 euros more than the lady. And you know, I feel that we shouldn't be in this position any longer. So I think we need to evolve, we need to grow globally in this regard. And there are policies that should be in place to avoid this kind of discrimination in the workplace and in terms of skills and otherwise. Why do I need to work more to prove myself right just because I am a woman? So
Right.
that would be something that I'm happy to bring my contribution to support in any way I can.
Okay, yeah, pay equality is very important, right? Very, very important. Renee, you're quiet, but I know you have a lot to say.
Yeah, I'm taking it all in. Some incredible people on this platform today and what they're trying to do with regards to empowerment. I'm very blessed to be a part of the Hera City. Been working very closely with Mary and do a lot of the interviews for Hera TV. I have my own station as well called the Who Am I Talk that I created in the pandemic to inspire and create and literally give people hope that things can get better and share incredible stories of individuals. So Hera really sits quite nicely in my mission and what I want to do. I'm a woman. I've sat on board, so I know what it's like when they think you're doing the minutes and you're actually not, and all the different things that you have to go through. So I'm really excited to be a part of this platform and be around some incredible people.
So do you want anything in the city for you, Renee? Is there anything that we can create that you want?
It's got to be music, hasn't it? Obviously, that's my first love, singing. We want definitely culture. There's so much incredible things that can be done through music. It takes you to places and times. It actually helps heal. You know, music is very healing. So definitely, I would love to see a cultural music.
Lots of music. Got you. Well, that will definitely be there. You're right. You're right. So, Damaris, thank you for joining.
I'm so sorry I'm late.
No, that's okay.
I probably missed so much. I'm really sorry for me also because I missed, I'm sure, a lot. So thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So love for you to share what you're up to, what you could do to help Hera City and what you want in Hera City.
I have a lot of asks. But I'm doing a lot to make sure that that's available. So my name is Damaris MPD. Nice to meet everybody here. And again, I apologize for being tardy, but I was actually on another important call that I couldn't wrap up until now. So I work with a company called Strategy. We're a consultancy that we're Canadian consultancy that typically helps, used to be Canadian companies expanding into new markets, but now our clients are all over the place. So I am actually located here in Portugal and Europe, and for almost 2 years. I've been here. My other partner is between Panama and Colombia. She's Canadian also, but has lived in Latin America for almost 20 years now. And so the two of us work those two regions, and then I've got a couple of other strategic partners in Sweden, Barcelona, and then back home in Canada. And what we focus on now is we really want to work with companies under the 4 criteria, and that is they need to have a significant return on investment for end user, or sometimes if we help them raise money in order to scale. Secondly, they need to be ready to go to new markets, and they need to see the world as a potential market. They need to also be disrupting or evolving their industry. So whatever industry they're working in, whether it's construction, hemp, cannabis, CBD, or AI, blockchain, et cetera, they need to be innovating. And then fourth is they need to have a significant ROC, which is return on community. They need to be leaving their community a better place, whatever that means for them. So all of those things are very necessary in order for us to engage with those companies. And I'm very lucky I'm working with companies that have integrated solar technology into cement, for example. I have other companies that have connected fully IoT lights for street lights in communities that are able to provide security and all types of other sensoring. I'm also,
I used to sell that years ago. I'm laughing, but go ahead.
yeah, it's you know, it's so that's really it. I'm fascinated about inclusion. I am a minority. I was born in Latin America, but came to Canada and worked in oil and gas most of my life. So I was always a woman in a very male-driven industry, and also a minority. I think I shared with Mary a story that I don't see in color or gender or age or any of that kind of stuff. To me, a human's a human. We all bleed red. So we all shall have the same opportunities. So I love anything I can do to make sure that we are, that I don't see the same faces like that look like me, because I just don't, you know, I think we all can do so much better together if we're integrated. And I love people, I love the world, and I'm happy to be here. So I'm gonna shut up now.
Brilliant. I'm glad you're here. So make sure you put in your contact details and your company info into the chat. Would appreciate that. There's other people here from Portugal as well. So.
Hey, I can't wait to meet them.
And like-minded. So anybody else would you like to share? Chris, you didn't get a chance to share, or neither Mercy.
I was being patient and letting the ladies speak. So go ahead, go ahead, Mercy. No, go ahead, Mercy. You're welcome.
Thank you for being a gentleman, Chris. Yes, I feel, especially as a politician, that it's important. A lot of people don't realize that they said, why would you need a Hera City in the UK? It's a country with equality, etc. And I had to say there's very few female politicians, especially in the UK, and they're trying to drive more politicians. So, and also, apart from needing more politicians, it's also needing more women in areas where women are not, such as engineering and aviation. So for me, those are some of the reasons and things that I would like to put in Hera City, especially if we have one in the UK.
Yeah, brilliant. I firmly believe, and I love that some of these companies now are requiring that there are, you know, women on the board. But let me just say, one is not enough. So it'll be interesting to see how we set guidelines for the city, because, you know, there will be some requirements when we design the city on things that we want to see happen. So thank you for that, Mercy. I'd love to see more female leaders as politicians as well. Totally agree with you on that. Chris, what do you think?
Thank you, Mary. I've agreed with everything everybody said and some, for sure. Yeah, my name's Chris Comey-Toom, based in London, as alluded to by Mario and Festus and Mercy, working together on many projects. We've been in meetings with Mary and also Marinella and some of the other people we represent, like ARC 2030. And then also we've got new connections happening also in Australia with some amazing people. And that sort of leads me on really to sort of, I think sort of what the next step is from what we have as an opportunity is, we know that it's Earth Day on the 22nd of April, which is a week yesterday, so a week to go. We're considering putting on an event to support a very beautiful community on this little island called Matasso. Now that's off the, it's in the Pacific Islands. It's one of 25,000 Pacific Islands, actually. I didn't realize there were so many. And not only that, we're also suggesting on that day that we might share some other projects. So because we got the capacity to put tables in the room digitally, so it's a digital experience.
Yep.
I'm suggesting that we would not only have Matasso represented there, but Hera, ARC 2030, and some other partners that are up to big things that have really long runways, but they're also quite short. They're going to come up really quick. So if we look at the the Sustainable Development Goals, we got till 2030. That's not that long away, and we can't wait till 2030 to deliver these. So certainly on the ones where we're talking about water supply, food supply security, protecting women and children. These things need to happen now. They need to happen yesterday. So with that in mind, what we're looking to do is we've got an amazing funder, and we know that we're also connected, as we all are, to other groups that, would they be interested in being in this room? We've only got 200 spaces, and just sharing what they're up to, what they're doing, and how they might be able to help Matasso. I've got a short video that can be shared so people can watch. It's by one of the gentlemen that's driving the driving force behind this project. But he needs help to deliver this, and that island is it got hit by Cyclone Pam, and the chief of the island, or one of the chiefs of the island, actually lost his mother, not on the day, but for the fact that she got hit by debris while he took his 3 children and put them in the cave, which is the only safe space on the island. Didn't die for 6 days. Nobody came to the rescue or aid. They came on the 7th day, not soon enough. So, that is unacceptable.
That is not okay. No. Not okay.
Yeah, exactly right. Unacceptable on so many levels. I mean, when you see the video of this, I'm telling you now, you'll need a tissue because you'll be like, going, no way, that's unbelievable. But so Nev, who I'm talking about, has been waiting to go back to the island for 6 years. And here's the thing, nothing has changed in 6 years. If you saw this island, it was beautiful green. After the cyclone, it's just literally the trees with nothing on top, just absolutely wiped out. So the island, just so we talk about sustainability and securing of habitat and also of indigenous history, this island has gone from, in 2015, it had a population of 400, and now has a population of 50. We're at risk of this island's heritage just going because there's no way to sustain the people that are there, or to attract back the people that have moved off the island because they can't live in this environment. But when you see this, I'm telling you, it's like Neverland from Peter Pan. It is stunning, but it has been at risk in the pathway of cyclones. So we need to do everything we can to support them, and then actually get this island, safe, secure, and also a sanctuary of the protection of this, the indigenous people's history. It's a heritage. The whole island is a museum.
Yeah, which brings up an interesting point, Chris. I remember seeing some kind of information from World Economic Forum about cities disappearing and moving to new locations because of climate change and Mother Nature. A lot of the coast, I think, and islands that are in jeopardy. And the question is, do we continue to rebuild there and let it fall down and rebuild again? Or do we start to move people around? That makes sense. That's in a safer environment. That's kind of an interesting question when you think about, how we progress in the next 20 years. Do we invest in areas that we know that won't get a hurricane every year? Like, I mean, I'm in one of those places in Miami, right? I mean, we didn't have any hurricanes in Miami last year, but every year we've had one. And does it make sense that, instead of investing in Miami, I'm sure Mayor Suarez won't appreciate what I'm saying right now, but those are the kind of discussions we also have to think about. And I know for us in building Hera City, the location is really important, that it's safe and secure environment as well. And then also, embracing with the local culture, because this will be their city as well as all of ours. So
that's a great series of points you bring up, Mary. So one of the solutions we have in that is through Festus, one of his partners, from a food security, water security, and then pretty much a bulletproof, bomb-proof building that can grow anything. I won't go into details, but you'll meet this technology on the day if Eric's available. He's been recovering from COVID, but that's one of our partners through Festus and the GPI 2050, and it is phenomenal. The returns, we talk about returns on investment for that, is just, in the first year, it's paid for itself and some. So again, because it can be so disruptive to farming, but well, the idea is that we put it in the hands of the farmers, hence why, you know, when you look at what Festus has got access to, it's phenomenal. You know, Kenya's going to be a revolution in that respect. But that aside, when we look at the buildings, yeah, the buildings that we're actually talking about putting on Matasu, they're specifically designed to withstand a Category 5 storm. So that's a sustained wind of 350 kilometers an hour, and it will not be penetrated by any ballistic materials. So the idea is that for those that wish to still live that simple, say simple, but a connected life to the other islands or to the mainland, they can do. And so they'll keep the heritage, and you know, it'll attract back. So maybe the sons and daughters of many generations back will actually come to visit and stay on the island, knowing that if something does whip up, A, they can stay there safely. They haven't got to try and fit in the cave, which is what they did with the the parents were outside in that environment. It's crazy. Or it can also lead to an element of, you know, sustainable and ecologically sound and respectful small amounts of tourism. So, you know, there's a ways to actually create now an economy. And then we've also got technology in of many different pieces of technology actually in the blockchain and cryptocurrency space, where we're looking about you know, using like almost like an IOU or an exchange process of bartering. So, and that actually meaning that, you know, the people there can barter on off island or within the whole 25,000 Pacific Rim islands as they are. So, you know, it's about actually just sort of, you know, being sympathetic to what their needs and wants are, not coming in with a, hey, we're going to do this for you, you're going to like it. No, it's coming in saying, hey, we have this range of technologies and systems. Nev's got to go back. He's made a promise. He's, you know, 6 years they've been waiting, and you know, they say, hey, we're patient, no worries. But you know, it's overdue time to go back, and we would love to have a celebration about that. And it is actually a lead up to the expo. So for me, hey, a city starts with a village. Let's create the village on Matasu Island, so Hera Village, right? Under that auspicious way of delivering and just wrapping love around a group of people that need support. You know, they've asked for it, but it's not forthcoming. So I think we should you know, step in now, and we've got all the bits ready to go. So that's, yeah, that's my sharing. So sorry, I spoke a bit too much. Apologies.
No,
Chris,
no, no.
Chris, I just put on the chat, and for anybody who may be interested, and Mary knows about this. So I am one of 4 founders of Fabulous Futurists. The website right now is actually on hold because we're managing all the back end and the legal aspects. But the Fabulous Futurists is actually literally based on a barter and trade at the local level, because we want to connect technology worldwide to address basic human needs, things we die without, like water, food, shelter. If you need a doctor, of course, healthcare, education. But the main part here is barter and trade. How do we create, not just teach Chris, not just give Chris a fish to feed his family today, but teach him how to fish. So take that technology, augment it, make it fit, make it better than it was, and then disrupt and actually create an economic value for it at the local level. So that's what we're building at the moment, and that's it's a part-time job for all of us. So it's been hard over the last year bootstrapping it, but that's the goal, and we want to connect all communities everywhere with technology, because we are able to answer the problems with technology. But most communities don't get access to this technology, because of course the technologies want to sell to the Walmarts or the Coca-Colas or, you know, the Googles of the world. And so anyway, so yeah, so I think we're aligned there.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing.
Very good.
Amazing.
You know, we're having a conference at the end of the month. We see, and the Minister of the Sea for Portugal and a few other people, the President of CIP. I've reached out to water.org. I don't know if you're familiar with Gary White in the US. He's aligned Matt Damon to support him, and they are putting in, they've made a way to get affordable water to third world countries. And they've been very successful and progressive. So would like to line them with our missions in Hera City as well, but we've got a meeting with them at the end of the month. So
awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the things you'll find, and thank you so much, Damiris, for that share. I'll definitely look that up, and we got some other conversations to have, as we all have. That on the waterfront, when there's another island called Tanna, it's a bit bigger, and it's just up the Pacific on the map. When this storm hit, there's a little boat called Dragonfly, owned by Larry Page and Sergey Brin, and it's a fleet. They have a fleet of fly boats, right? Actually, it's a super yacht. It has a helicopter port on it. Now, they had actually been in and around Tanna and all the islands since 2013. So they've been going, trips and seeing how they could help. And do you know, they were the first people to arrive, and they dropped off something of the order of, I think, 65 to 70,000 liters of water. So before any of the other trade organizations turned up with their tents or sheets of plastic, they were there to support them. Now, what's interesting about that story is, after they left and Nev had gone on a scouting trip, and you'll see in the little video, and he's actually being interviewed by Hera TV, by the way, so you can see this. Mercy interviewed him. This boat is unbelievable. But when he arrived there, the yacht had dropped off a surfboard and left a surfboard there. Now, if this is not spirit arriving before man, what the surfboard they left behind was actually made by Nev. So Nev is a surfboard shaper, and it was his surfboard. So when he turned up, that was still on the island. It hadn't blown away. It was stuck. It was half pointing out under one of the buildings that had been blown down. And it was just like, oh my God, that's my surfboard. What's my surfboard doing here? And he said, oh, yeah, Dragonfly, big yacht, arrived and left us gift and water, right? So yeah, his spirit is there. So, I think it'd be a wonderful celebration of pointing at what Hera stands for, and what everyone that's coming to the table, how they're collaboratively, bringing their magic with them, and to support women globally, and then obviously that extends to the family and the human race as a whole. So I thought I'd just share, because it was a beautiful story.
Oh, brilliant. Thank you. Thanks for sharing. Well, listen, everybody, we're at the top of the hour, and I want to respect everybody's time. Unless somebody has one last thing that they would like to share or say. Anybody want to say anything?
Who are my Portuguese people in the house? Who's here? Who's in my backyard?
Well, that would be me, and we're already connected on LinkedIn, so just drop me a
Olá,
message
Pedro.
there.
Ok, muito bem, muito prazer.
Prazer também. I already dropped you a LinkedIn
Perfect,
message.
sounds
We're already
good.
connected. You have my mobile there.
Cool. Are you in Lisboa?
Yeah, in Oeiras, very close.
Okay,
So
very
we
cool.
should
So
get a coffee sometime.
we're gonna have a cafezinho with Mary when she's here in May. We'll all go together.
Cool.
That's awesome.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say very quickly on seawater, and Marianella was also very kind to share the info on that upcoming event.
Yep.
I'll just send you a note on a healthy beverage, which is 20% seawater. It's from Galicia up
Okay.
north. There's a sanctuary there. It's an alkaline water, and it's obviously a much more mundane, so to speak, project, but it's very sustainable. Behind it is 20 plus years sustainability director at Inditex, who's behind the Zyra group. So I'll drop you a note to you guys, to all of you on this, and who knows what may come out.
That would be brilliant.
It's
Thank
a great
you.
project.
Thank you for that.
And
Thank
thank you
for that.
guys for the insights and the wisdom. Looking forward
Absolutely.
to the next one.
Yes. So anyway, I hope you all get connected, right? And to see you on the next, and we will continue. Our goal is to get the voices of everybody on what they want in this city. So we want you to know you're being heard, right? So thank you for joining us today. Have a great weekend, and I will see you all again. So thank you so much.
Ciao, everybody. Have a great weekend.
Bye.
Bye for now.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Ciao. Mary, I'll send you the video because it's probably recorded on mine, so I'll retransfer it over to you. Okay, my dear?
Okay, that's fine.
And then all the chat as well.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Blessings. Bye
Bye-bye.
bye.